Imagine waking up in the shoes of a normal teenager, and before you even get out of bed or let your feet hit the floor, or before you even open your blinds, you're already comparing yourself to somebody you see on a tiny screen. For many teenagers, including myself, this is what everyday life looks like. The first thing we see in the morning is not sunlight. It's an edited photo we see on TikTok, Instagram, or Snapchat. The comparison immediately starts. Teenagers or not, we live in 2025. You probably use social media, or somebody you know probably uses social media. This makes understanding the effects of what social media really has on us can do on us mentally. It's crazy what a 6.1-inch screen can really do to us. I've researched this topic using credible sources I use in school, like Britannica and Gale Literature, their peer-edited journals. Although that this research, I found something alarming. Although social media can connect teens, its impact on mental health, self-esteem, and safety proves that it does more harm than good. Today, I'm going to explain 3 main ideas: how social media increases mental health issues among teens, how it damages teens' self-esteem and creates identity struggles, and finally, what we can do as a society in 2025 to try and stop these mental health struggles. I think the first thing that needs to be talked about and that is not talked about enough is what it really does to our mental health. Experts have been warning us for years that social media isn't just a harmless pastime, it comes with real consequences. According to scholars writing in Britannica's Con Arguments article, the harms of social media don't stay online. The article states, the harms carry over into offline life. Digital addiction can lead to anxiety, depression, mood swings, and a lack of interest in the real world, while cyberbullied victims were more than twice as likely to self-harm and enact in suicidal behavior than non-victims. In other words, the consequences aren't temporary. They're not small, they're life-changing. Social media use is strongly linked with anxiety and depression. In 2022, in the study of journal, found that constant comparison on social media intensifies anxiety among teens. This makes sense. Every day, teens scroll past images of bodies and lifestyles that look perfect, and they constantly compare to what their life could look like when in reality it's really all fake. This constant comparison creates pressure, anxiety, in a sense that we're never really not good enough. I'm guilty of this. I'll be constantly scrolling on my phone, asking myself, why doesn't my life look like that? Why are my clothes not that cute? When in reality, they probably have their own problems going on and their life probably isn't that perfect. Another thing, social media disrupts sleep, which worsens mental health. The CDC reports that notifications and nighttime scrolling can reduce sleep quality nearly 70% in teens. Sleep is one of the biggest factors in mental health. If teens don't get enough sleep, the way that they act at school, the way that they perform at practice and their after-school activities declines immediately. Whenever teens don't get enough sleep, it's a really, really big effect on how their mental health is. We don't understand how much sleep affects really our mind. When we look at anxiety, depression, and sleep, the evidence is clear. Social media is making teens' mental health worse. When mental health isn't the only thing affected, social media also shapes how teens see themselves, often in harmful ways. Social media leads to a comparison and lowers our self-worth. Common Sense Media reported in 2023 that over half of teenage girls felt insecure after scrolling through social media. Think about more than half. That means for many teens, social media isn't a place of connection, but a place where they feel worse about themselves. When all you see is edited perfection, it becomes easy to feel like you don't measure up, when that couldn't be farther from the truth. Online personas pressure teens to present fake or perfect lives. Whenever you're constantly scrolling on social media and you see these perfect pictures of people, you're constantly wanting to post pictures of yourself that makes you seem like this perfect version of yourself, which just isn't true, and it creates this constant revolving door of just a comparison among teens. This creates what most psychologists call an identity split. Teens start living 2 lives, a real one and an online one. And the difference of those 2 lives become the stress and confusions that teens can experience. So not only does social media harm mental health, it also harms our identity. Whenever we're constantly trying to live 2 lives, our real one and an edited version, that really isn't us. That really In reality, whenever we're just ourselves, people tend to like that more. Even though these issues are serious, the solution doesn't have to be deleting all of your social media. Instead, we can take steps, big and small, to reduce harm and help teens use social media more safely and intentionally. Policy can protect teens. As a society, we should require social media companies to do better. Some ideas include age verification to make sure young teens aren't exposed to harmful content, limits or bans on addictive features for minors like endless doom scrolling. In my opinion, every single social media app, you should be able to put in your age and it should shut down at a certain time at night so you actually put your phone down and go to sleep and have an eventful, effective day the next day. Stronger protections against cyberbullying and harassment. The people behind screens that are running this social media, I feel like don't take their job seriously enough whenever people report on Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat when somebody is really bullying them. I think that they need to take a deeper dive into what harmful posts really look like because it affects us immensely. What we can do right now, even without new laws, individual actions matter. Teens and adults can set screen time limits, put phones away after 10 p.m., turn off unnecessary notifications, take regular breaks from social media, and encourage friends and younger teens to unplug even for a little while. This generation doesn't necessarily need to quit social media. I don't think that could ever happen, but we do need to learn how to use it intentionally and not impulsively. In 2025, I feel like teens have overused and often it's caused an addiction to social media whenever we have real life people all around us that are real and not the fake version of themselves. Whenever we really put our phone down and we get to know the people that are really around us and not the social media version, I feel like our life would go a lot easier. And if we'd put our phone down at 10 p.m., we could get good sleep and perform well in everything else that we did. But that was my speech on how phones really do more harmful than good things. That doesn't necessarily mean to quit it all, but restrictions are necessarily needed. Thank you so much for listening. Bye!